Hi, this is James from Simulations Unlimited. Welcome to the channel. We want to go through and look at customizing the TSC-X controller. You have gone through, you've gotten the controller installed, and you've used it, and now you want to customize it, change some of the buttons or levers. The levers don't change, well, you probably wouldn't change those nearly as much, but certainly there are a lot of things you can change on the buttons. So I'm going to go to the Morristown line, and we'll go into the table. I'm going with the ALP46. Yes, that one. Okay, I want something. All right, this one will start us off in Penn Station, so that's fine. All right, we'll start off in Penn Station. What we're going to do is change a button and show you how to customize the buttons. And here we go. Let's get started. All right. You know from previous videos, I talked about how I have my TSC-X controller set up, but just to show you what the first few buttons do, because we want to talk about changing it. This, of course, is alerter. Here is view 1, view 2. View 1 again. Now, the next two buttons would be to open doors. Open a door, open a door. All right. So now, we want to change one of these buttons from opening a door to, well, we're going to display the timetable. All right, how do we do that? First off, I'm going to press the window key, or actually this time, I'll press Control Escape. Now this brings up, here I have my TSC Train Simulator World TSC-X controller program set up. And do that again. Control Escape, and click here. All right, so here's our application here set up. Now notice it says stop callback, which means we're in callback mode. If you're in callback, if you go to these keys, you go to this part of the menu, nothing happens. So the first thing we have to do is stop callback. Now these keys are active. When we press here, we can go to the lever file, but notice there's not a lot that goes on in that file, and you may change those. You can change these the same way, but we're going to leave those alone this time. Let's go to the button map. And now, first off, I just want to go through and say the button map file that we have now, let's say that we wanted to edit it. Now we can see which button map file we have by looking here. We're in the default, as you see there, button mapper. Now it'll signal a little chime or something. It makes you feel like you've made an error or something, but you haven't. It just does that when it asks you, are you sure you want to do this? Yes, we are. And here you see the button map file. Now all we did was say we want to edit the file we're in. That's okay if you want to make a permanent change for your default file, but I'm going to show you how to make a new file, and that's not default. Let's look at button. Now remember how it's numbered: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to change this button. This would be button 4. Now if we look in the file, we see button 4. Button 4 is already assigned. Door open and close. What we want to do is assign it to, let's see down here, timetable. How do we do that? Now we could do it in this file, the default file, and it would be a change in the default. But let's go ahead, we're going to do it in a completely different file. So the first thing I'm going to do is get out of here. If you don't want to do anything at all when you're in that button map file editing it, just click the X and get rid of it. Now what we're going to do this time, we're going to go back into button map and we're going to say new button map file. To show you what happens if you do that, you get a completely new, totally blank button map file, and you can start from the beginning and go through all the work. I think you agree that's probably not what you want to do. Now notice the buttons down here, it says save or load or assign to, and you look at that and you say, I don't want to do any of those things. I just don't want to do this new button map deal at all. Just exit out. Okay, do you wish to save the changes? No, that's why I'm exiting it out. So what we want to do instead, key maps, button map file, we want to copy a button map. Now we can select which file we want to copy from. And let's go, where was I? Yeah, here it is. Default TSC-X button mapper. Click on that. In a new file name, let's see, test XYZ. And OK. Alright, now we can go through and say load a button map file. And guess what? Here's our new button map file. This is the one we just created, and that's a copy of the default. So we're going to select that one and open it. Now notice down here it says loaded button map is test XYZ. Okay. How does it look? Well, we would expect that it would look just like the default. So let's load button map, and we're going to select test XYZ. We open that, and now it says loaded button map test XYZ, key button map, and now let's edit one. And it says, hey, you want to edit test XYZ. Great, that's exactly what we want to do. And notice that it does look exactly like our default button map file. Alright, so far so good. Now, we said what we wanted to do was to go down and timetable, set button 4 to timetable. So we'll click on button 4, and now we're going to right click. When we do, it says assign button to current command. That's what we want. Assign button to current command. So let's click on that. That's going to be a left click. And now it says press a button on the controller. We want to use button 4 for that. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We press that button. Alright, let's try it again. Alright, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now it says that this thing is going to be assigned to button 4. And we say OK. This button 4 has already been allocated to doors, open and close for the right door. Do you want to delete that? Now, what would happen if we didn't? So I'm going to try that. I'm going to say, no, I do not want to delete it. And sure enough, what we wanted to have happen, that timetable is assigned to button 4. But what about up here? Notice that button number 4 is also still assigned to doors right open and close. Alright, so we now press the button here that says save, and we want to say, oh, I said save as. That technically we could, I guess I can't now, but so I'll have to go through and do a save as and say, yeah, we want to save it as XYZ, and really want to do that. Yes, we do. Okay, so now we've saved the button map. And of course, our loaded button map file is TSC-X. Let's just verify that we really did do what we thought we did. It says this editing wants to edit TSC-X. Yes, of course. And sure enough, we're going to find button 4 is assigned to door opening there. Button 4 assigned to timetable. And since I really don't want to do anything, I'll just exit out. Alright, TSC-X is our button map file. Let's try it out. Let's go to view 2. Oh, did you catch what I forgot to do? You catch what I forgot to do? I'm going to go ahead and press the window key. Could have pressed Control Escape. Go back in and start callback. Okay, now we should be good to go. Press view 2. Like to be able to see my doors. Maybe a little tricky in this cramped space. Can we see a door? Oh, barely. Okay, I guess you can barely see that door. Oh, then. Let's see. Press button 4. Okay, we can see them open there better. And notice the door opened and we got the timetable. So we got them both there. So if you wanted to go through, I'll press it again. Gets rid of the timetable and closes the doors. Okay, so we saw how we could modify a new button file. We also saw something interesting that we could go through and we could say, hey, I want to assign a function, 2 functions to one button. And that's how you would do it. Now let's stop the callback and go in the key map again and say, okay, that was nice, but I really don't want to have 2 functions for that one button. So we'll say edit the button map. It's editing TSC-X, of course. Let's go down to this function and let's decide we want to get rid of the door function for this key, for this button. Now be careful. If you say delete the current command, it will say you're about to delete the item doors right, open, and close, which means it'll delete this entire row here. You will not have that in your file anymore. That's probably not what you want to do. Well, it's certainly not what you want to do if your intent was to just not have this function activate for button 4. So the right thing to do, right click, delete currently assigned button or lever. So we're going to press this, and now that assignment is gone. Let's save the button map. Now press the right one this time. Save button map. Yes, I want to save it. Alright, so it's TSC-X. Let's start the callback. Now, let's take a look at our door. Ooh, I should have... Alright. We can barely see it. Or it could be. Alright, we can barely see it now. Notice when I press button 4, we get the schedule appears, but the door was not open or closed. We got rid of that function. So that's how you can do it, folks. I hope that helps. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.